Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. We've got amazing experts with incredible insights each week, and this week, this episode is no exception. With us is Jennifer McLean, Laguna Beach, California, with 35 years of experience under her belt, helping us transform many different approaches. She's got her patented STT method, acoustics or sound therapy, if you want to call it that, dreams, soul journeys, and she'll tell us about this in just a second. But she's been around the block. She's gotten to hobnob with a lot of the really well-known authors, experts out there. She herself is highly acclaimed, does speaking engagements all over the globe, has been on many networks, Fox, CBS, and so on. I'd like to welcome Jennifer to this episode, to this podcast.
Oh, it's so delightful to be here. Thank you very much, Michael, for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you again. And I know folks are eager to hear how you got your start, but how things have evolved over time. And also for those out there sort of just getting started, how can they examine their lives, take a harder look, and realize that events are not just happening to them. They don't have to live under a stress blanket. They don't have to suffer through a divorce, bad job situation, finances, and so on. How can they make more of what they've already got within? And what ways can they also tap you to get that done? So first, which way would you like to go on this for sort of starting off?
Well, you know, it's my guides are always with me, and they're always working through me. So the first thing that they want to talk about is something you shared, which is how can we go through life without having this weight upon us, this seeming weight. And one of the things that I've discovered through a lifetime of healing, personal healing, is the bottom line is equanimity. The bottom line, and equanimity basically means be in good shape no matter what. Be in good shape, which means be in grace, in love, in kindness, in compassion, in power, no matter what is happening in your world or in the world around us. And what happens then is we become these points of light, like we become lighthouses as we just emanate with an energy of, I'm okay. This is happening and I'm okay. Now, that's not about suppression and repression. How do we get to be okay no matter what? We feel our feelings in the moment of upset. When we're upset, feel it. Don't claim it, feel it. I just saw a little video on TikTok just before we came on together, and they said it's an ancient Sanskrit approach, which is the feeling is upon me. It's not who I am, right? I like to say I feel whatever the upsetting emotion is instead of I am. So it's not I am angry. It is not I am sad. It is sadness is upon me. I feel sad. And we have really good reasons for feeling these emotions. We have really, really good reasons. And what we've done, most of us have done for most of our lives, is we've suppressed them and repressed them because when we were children, it wasn't safe to feel those things. So we did something incredibly smart. We repressed the emotions. And the whole idea is repress the emotions until you can feel them. But what we learned back in childhood is repress the emotions no matter what. No matter what, repress the emotions. And so the opportunity now is for us to feel our feelings, genuinely feel. And what's amazing is that when we genuinely feel, we and move past that inclination, that instinctual inclination to repress and I can't feel this, it's not safe. Notice it, and then feel it anyway. And when we move into that feeling, honest to God, it's 90 seconds. We've been repressing it for 30 years. And we feel it for 90 seconds. And we have a new measure of freedom, grace, compassion, kindness, love, power. These things now get amplified in our field. And then we become these lighthouses. And then the next thing that happens, it's not as intense. Our reaction isn't as intense. Our reaction is more, we have a more capacity in our field, more space in our ability to notice. And in our conscious noticing, I call it shining the light of consciousness on it. We can consciously notice, whoa, I am really overreacting to something that happened. I am way overreacting to something someone just said. I am way overreacting to something that's happening in the world. Any reaction, by the way, is an overreaction, and there's nothing wrong with them. Those reactions are simply revelations. They are revealing and showing to us what's ready to be healed and transformed next. And so this is my whole life's purpose now, is to be in good shape. And again, if I'm not in good shape, that's okay. It just means there's something ready to be healed. It's a revelation, it's an opportunity, it's a point of access. And so now when something shows up, I'm like, wow, that's a good one. I'm looking forward to the next week or two or months where I get to unravel and unwind all that from childhood. Now, to answer the other question, which is, how did I get here? I had an extremely challenging childhood, extremely challenging. It was sexual abuse, narcissism, and alcoholism. And it wasn't just one person with the abuse. It was three men. And then I lived in a big city, and there was multiple other, things that happened, flashers and things on the subway, et cetera. And those, by the way, it's basically just being a woman in patriarchal society, generally speaking. So I think pretty much every woman out there is kind of nodding their head saying, I had that experience too. So the upset, the deep, profound challenge I had in childhood had me go on a very profound, fervent journey of healing. I didn't give up. I didn't give up. Honestly, I've been to many therapists, and I'm not saying this to be conceited. I've been to many, many therapists and healers over the years, and without exception, including Dr. Amin, who I had my brain scan done, and they all said, you're a miracle that you are not dead in an institution, a prostitute, or a drug addict. And I think what saved me is this path of healing. And I think what saved me is my ability to detach and be the observer of my life, to be this observer that can notice when I'm upset, that, wow, look at I'm upset, and then use that as a point of access. So how did I get here? I took, when I left home at 17, by the time I was 28, I was in workshops. I was training to be an energy medicine healer. So I trained all those years ago, and I learned a lot about the healing discipline and energy medicine and trauma. And I became a trauma specialist. I started with birth trauma and then moved into general trauma. And one of the things that I've learned in all of those decades is that there's nothing wrong with trauma. Trauma is the pathway of the soul to an evolution. We're not here. This is not the vacation planet. Although there's some fun things to do on this planet. We get to eat good food and maybe drink wine if that's your thing, and have great massages. And if sex is your thing, you have to have great sex. That's the vacation part of the planet. But we're here to evolve. We didn't choose the easy planet. We chose the planet that gives you wonderful, profound, amazing soul adventures. We came here with soul experiments to evolve from. And there is no question in my mind that I 100% chose, created, and rejoiced, yearned for the childhood I had. I know that sounds kind of warped, but that belief helps me feel good. So I choose beliefs that help me feel good. Because when I feel good, I'm emanating light. And when light, love, compassion, kindness, and power. And when I'm emanating those things, I am changing not only my life, but the whole planet. So I went on this extended journey of recovery. And yet it was really an extended journey of discovery and evolution. And I'm certainly not perfect. I still have those moments of upset. And yet every one of them is an opportunity for transformation. That was a long answer.
Oh, it was a great answer. And I'll add from the first part, feel what you feel, do not judge or just allow. And that I loved how you said, be the observer. Can you tell us a little bit more about the journey, the recovery, the years at the beginning? Was it geographically oriented? Did you, and a lot of folks will head to India. I'm not talking just eat, pray, love, but a lot of folks will go to India,
Yeah.
Latin America. Can you tell us, did you travel that way, or did you travel here and it was more California? Was it Canada? Where, and you're originally
Yeah.
from Canada, I should mention that, but a
Yeah.
long time in America. So take us a little bit through some of the steps that you took early on to help you discover which way was up, which way was down, or I should say, thinking, awareness, love.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I did not go to India. I did not seek gurus. Thank God. It was I was so saved, I think personally, because my personality back there then and how broken I was and how um, incredibly needy and profoundly unable to really understand what was up or down or what was good or bad. And so I was really blessed. I was really guided to not go to the guru thing because I would have 100% joined cults, 100%. So I'm really glad I didn't. Not that all that stuff is culty, but that's what I would have attracted for sure.
Yep.
And so I was more personal, and part of it is because I was so conscious of safety and also attracting moments of non-safety. So I kept it close.
Yep.
You know, I kept it close because I was witnessing what I was creating from the energy field I was emanating, which was a victim. I was a victim. And so I would create many, many moments of being a victim. So I kept it close. And I didn't have many extreme moments of being victimized, but I had many moments of being victimized, but they weren't extreme, not like my childhood. And that's because I kept it close. It was all subconscious. None of this was a conscious understanding. I could see it in hindsight. But no, I traveled to California for some courses. I took advanced cranial sacral work. Cranial sacral was where I started, and then I took a lot of polarity programs. And polarity was based in Michigan, so I went to Michigan a lot. And I took some advanced cranial sacral classes in California, but it was all United States, and I was living in Canada. And I took workshops in Canada. So my process was up ledger. That's where I started. And then I did polarity therapy and advanced cranial sacral with some really unique folks. I went into some birth cranial sacral work. And but it's a good question. It's making me really realize that, yeah, I wasn't, I think I was guided and protected a little bit because I was such a victim and my energy emanated such victimhood. And when I was on all those courses, one of the things that I realized was happening was that people were being re-traumatized through these amazing healing processes. Amazing energy medicine works. And this was in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. A lot of the people were being re-traumatized, and I watched it. And I didn't know exactly what I was watching then. I understand it now. And I realized that I had to stop all of it. So by the time I hit 2000, I had actually moved out of all the healing work and into technology and marketing, working in corporate America. And I still had my private sessions here and there working with people, but I really kind of walked away from it because I knew that if I continued, I would get re-traumatized because it was this grand experiment, just like medicine is this constant grand experiment. Even naturopaths now are just experimenting. Most of them don't really know. Like no one knows, no one. We can know. We can know ourselves. We can have awareness, as you just shared. But no one, if there's any practitioner who's telling you this is what you have to do, just stop, pause right there and notice what it feels like within you, and you get to say no. You get to say no. Sometimes those things present themselves. Sometimes I've worked with clients doing psychic work, and I say something and they say, that's not it at all. It's like, hallelujah, I was wrong. They got to own their power with me. Hallelujah. That's a good moment. That's a great moment when I get it wrong, because they know better. You all know better always than anyone in your life. So they were re-traumatizing. So I stopped. And then I started realizing that the therapy helped me. The therapies that I did had also helped me. So there was this dichotomy that had happened. And I realized I just need to work on myself for a while now. So that's when I developed my own system of healing. and there's a searing purpose within that to make sure that it doesn't re-traumatize. And that's kind of why the observer is something that I shared that is so incredibly important. And it's part of my spontaneous transformation technique system called STT.
Yeah, I was going to mention STT, and no drama, just Rama, to go back to the drama thing. Can we talk about the trauma? Anything can trigger trauma. We've all experienced it. Sometimes we carry it on us. Once in a while, there's a lucky person who's just a natural at keeping it light and shedding, whether it's touching water, they're sports, they're an artist, they just have a way of letting go. They're a good traveler. They're just good for sojourning through life. I don't think I've ever used that word in a long time. But so what I wanted to ask was, can you talk to us about the dynamic? Were you seeing energy on people, auras, chakras? Were you just feeling it through awareness, or was there another way you want to describe it? And can you take us through how that awareness, again, maybe different modalities, how that awareness, again, helped drive your future practices? But can you take us through like the physical aspect of it? Again, were you seeing it, just feeling it? Would it stay on you if you saw someone else's trauma?
Yeah. I have this incredible ability to not take on other people's trauma. Like,
Bravo.
I'm just incredibly blessed.
Yes.
I just don't take it on. I just don't. I think it's because from the start, my intuition and my guidance has always been a little bit over there. It's a little bit outside of me, and it's just, and recently, I mean, well, in the last 15 years is when I've really realized, like, wow, this is actually really powerful and true and authentic and proven. And part of the reason I didn't quite believe it is because it was always kind of over there. It's a little bit apart from me, which I think is a good thing, because it's the whole notion of hollow bones, right? It's thy will be done, not my will be done, right? So hollow bones I have hollow bones that I invite spirit, I invite divinity, I invite my guides to fill me. And so it's not me that is animating the healing, it is that and the person. So that's the interaction that happens, and I'm kind of over here.
I describe it that way as well. I love it. I like to say I step aside, kind of throw me out of the way, because you're fully capable.
Yes, absolutely. I never heal people, never. They heal through the dynamic of our interaction. They heal, they're the ones that are doing all of it. And anyone who tells you that they're going to heal you, they might have incredible gifts. My experience is it doesn't stick as well, because it's like, oh, well, they did it. So now, see, my whole thing is the mind has to be on board. If the mind is not bored, it will supersede all of it. It will overturn all of it. So if the mind thinks, I didn't do it, they did it, then the mind will supersede all the healing. So your question was, how do I feel and experience the healing and look at it? So I am clairsentient, clairaudient, clairvoyant. I'm all the clairs. I'm also really good at distant healing. And I have this strange ability to be able to just tap into energies and understand what's happening. I think because I experienced so much trauma, I'm able to see where how trauma impacts the energy fields, the chakras, and in particular, the mind. I see how the mind goes awry, I should say, from trauma. And I'm also more recently discovering how trauma sits in the body. I'm working with a specialist right now that's teaching me that because I've avoided my body, the body's the first to get it, the body's the last to release it. And so now I'm in the last to release part. After all of these decades of healing, I'm finally in the releasing it from the body, which is such a, oh my God, I'm so blessed that I got to hear. Oh my God. So trauma is held in the tissue. Trauma is held in the tissue. Trauma is held in our thoughts and the beliefs. Trauma comes from 0 to 7, and for some people 0 to 9. That's where it all is. If you have trauma later in your life, your response and reaction to the trauma comes from 0 to 9. So you see people, war veterans, right? There are some of them that do okay. They actually might have some PTSD, but it's like you said, there are some that it rolls off their back. They didn't have a lot of childhood trauma. That's it. That's the only difference. The people that had a lot of childhood trauma, that it's unresolved trauma, they're still working it through, and they create opportunities in their life to resolve the trauma. That's what's happening. So it's not, if you're raising your hands and go, why does this keep happening? It's because it's trying to get your attention so that you'll heal it, so that you'll unwind it. And it's why your soul came down to this planet, because it identified a few things that it wants to unwind and heal and release. And it's never about getting rid of, ever. It's not about getting rid of something. Einstein said, energy is neither created or destroyed. It turns into something else. That's not a direct quote. I'm paraphrasing.
No, not.
But nonetheless, if we're trying to get rid of, that's the mind once again repressing and suppressing. All of this is great information. When you understand what you're doing, when you get it, your intuition starts to open up. Your connection to your soul starts to expand. You start to experience who you really are, which is way, way, way more than anything that ever happened to you. And you start to understand that, what if I came to this planet to actually have an evolutionary experience, and that everything that is occurring is part of that amazing journey, the adventure of my very soul, and the things that happened in childhood were the setup, inculcating into the tissues the patterns that I wanted to reflect and then overcome and unwind. So none of it is wrong or bad. And when our mind starts to understand that, that's where that being in good shape, that's when equanimity can actually come in. Did that answer your question?
Yes. And
Okay.
for trauma, it's easy to get stuck in trauma, even for decades, for a lifetime. It might take 2 lifetimes to sort it out. And that's free will, that's choice. And again, the beauty of Earth School with all the contrast is you can have dramatic growth and expansion. So there's an upside to all the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you're done this life, you're going to go, oh my God, that was the best roller coaster I've ever bought a ticket for. That was astonishing. Right now, when they're in the midst of it, let's just imagine that before we came here, we had this plan. Oh, I get to work out all this stuff, and I get to do it in a really accelerated way, more so than I can when I'm on the other side. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to buy this ticket to this amazing roller coaster. I mean, it's the mammoth, intense roller coaster. Like, it's the biggest roller coaster in the universe. And we can't wait to go on this ride. And then we get here and we're halfway through the roller coaster saying, oh, the roller coaster is mean to me. Oh my God, I'm a victim of the roller. It doesn't make sense when we see it in those terms. We are not victimized by the roller coaster. We bought the ticket. So let's change our minds about all of it. Let's change our minds right here, right now, about all of it. Change your mind. What if I'm on this amazing roller coaster and I'm actually evolving at an accelerated rate? And by the time I'm done, I will be so blessed and happy and grateful and so full of love. What if that's the possibility here? If you start believing that, you're going to have a different kind of life starting right now. Tomorrow's going to look different. The next day's going to look different. And then life starts reflecting that back to you.
Okay. So instead of my situation is it's my opportunity for growth is. Now, no one says that who just got laid off from IBM for 50 years. Generally speaking, we all call every relative and friend and complain. And say, I can't believe it happened to me.
And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. That's loss. That's definitely okay. Call everyone, complain, but notice that you're doing it. Yep. Observe yourself doing it. Observe what it feels like when you complain. Feel the feelings of loss. I mean, that's a big deal. You've been working for somewhere for a long, long time and you get laid off suddenly. Oh, that's loss. Feel it, right? I don't recommend trying to go to your guru at that stage. Feel it. Just feel your feelings, man. Experience the loss. Don't do STT at that moment. It's not something to fix. It's something that is you in the midst of your brilliant soul journey. You're having this moment of loss. When I lost my sister, I didn't go to workshops. My sister passed away 10 years ago this past June. And I didn't go to workshops. I just felt my feelings. I just went, wow. Okay. Feel grief. Sometimes I still have huge crying jags, over losing her. I'm getting emotional now. Feel Feel your feelings. That's step one, feel, right? But step two is like, maybe it's not as extreme as losing your job. Maybe it's someone said something that was really upsetting. And so if you're really upset, it's yours, number one. Number two, you created, there's an invitation there for that person to say that so that you could notice the reaction. And then, so now we're kind of reviewing the facts. Someone said something to me and I reacted. That's pretty much all that's happening. It's not them, because they're never going to change. If they have to change in order for me to be happy, I will never be happy because I can never change them. I can only change me.
Right.
So they said something, I'm upset. That's all that's happening. Now you can feel that there's a little space here, like, whoa, that's really all that's happening. And then there's an opportunity to use that moment to maybe say, wow, now I am going to do a healing. Now I'm going to do spontaneous transformation technique, EFT, one of the many practitioners you have on here. Do something to shift the energy, do something to heal it up. And what happens is that issue gone? No. We came here to have a lifetime of that beautiful issue. Overcome nuances over here and tweaking it over here and nuances over here, right? So it's going to keep showing up, but it'll show up like if you're in an abusive relationship and you finally escape it. The next thing will be your friend is an abusive relationship. That's a degree of separation. It's not in your life every day. You're not sleeping with it. But you get to hear about it a lot. And then when you heal up and get in good shape, you're noticing it, you're noticing a reaction to it, and you use that to heal up. And then the next thing you see is your cousin, who you talk to 3 times a year, is experiencing that with their kid. Do you see? It's another degree of separation. It got to a degree of separation for me where I was in a casino working with abundance. I love casinos because I love working with my abundance issues in casinos. It's real, it's visceral, it's in the moment. I get to observe profoundly. So I was really having this intense moment with losing at the slot machine and feeling what that feels like and working on it. And behind me was my issue. And it walked by me with this guy having a huge argument on the phone with someone. And that was what it was. That was my degree of separation with it now. It wasn't in my life. It walked by me. And that's what happened when we use the moment of upset to actually heal. We layer in the healing, layer in the healing, and layer in the healing, and the pattern will remain in our life, but not as extreme. It'll just show up. And all of a sudden we're like, oh, I am actually not reacting to that at all. That's why it showed up. I'm not reacting to it. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Next.
If we have so many flows that we get to experience, and what you were describing is akin to, or you'll tell me about this in a second, like Eckhart Tolle's pain body, negativity, unconsciousness, call it what you will, but it will call it unlove, because there's simply love, unconditional love, kindness, gentleness, all 4 things you described at the beginning. Not that we should be striving for, but that already exist within if we would just pay attention, put our focus.
That's right.
Or even let go and just allow and be aware.
Just unlocking it.
Can you talk about those dynamics and how it's right here, right now, if you would just pump the brakes a little in a bunch of areas?
Have you ever heard of Byron Katie?
Yeah.
Okay. So Byron Katie was in extreme angst, extreme upset. She was the extreme of everything we're talking about. And she went up to the attic to sleep on the floor because she her mind had decided that she wasn't even worthy to sleep in a bedroom. So she went up to the attic and slept on the floor and begged and begged and begged and begged. And she woke up a completely different person the next day. The Byron Katie we know today. We could do that. Or we could, in the moment, make new decisions. In the moment, move into the observer. In the moment, make some, it's subtle, nuanced work. We can use those moments to shed some of the old beliefs. I actually realize I'm not quite answering your question. Can you ask me the question one more time? Sure.
All the different flows going on, everyone has a different way to say it. And Byron Katie was a great reference because I always like to describe her as, and this isn't meant in any way, except she's a professional at taking any thought. You think Henry is a jerk. Henry's your ex-husband.
Yeah.
You all agree Henry the neighbor is a bad person. But she takes a crowbar in there and does the same move and gets you to work on it until you get some separation. You look at that statement, and in the end, you realize it's your thinking, your approach to a topic, how you flow your energy is what you're responsible for.
That's right.
So she helps shift.
So two things, the pain body, and I want to talk about a wonderful vision that I was given through someone who experienced a near-death experience. And they explained that when they went into the other side, she was shown all of her judgments. And when she judged someone, this is the best part I've ever experienced. It's such great information for me. When she judged, it was like a cage of her judgment caged the person in the judgment. So it was more difficult for them to move out of it.
Yes.
And guess who was the prison guard? We are. So we're stuck and they're stuck because we're judging and judging and judging. And right now in our society, there's a lot of that going on. Right. So that's the first thing, which is when we judge, and righteous indignation is just another form of judgment. When we judge, we hold them and us in that judgment. That neighbor that's a jerk, you know, what if we actually had compassion for just a minute for him? What if we saw him as a little kid that created outrageous coping mechanisms in order to survive that he's never been able to free himself on? And he now has an entire neighborhood on all his family, putting him in that cage of who they say he is. And it's really hard for him to break free. And
so he performs just the way he's expected to perform.
That's right.
No different. Christmas Carol Scrooge, except the one guy invited him to dinner every year.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so there's that. And then instead, we move into an energy of, I do a spontaneous transformation technique version of Ho'oponopono. I do that every single day. So it's my go-to because it really addresses this directly. Whatever I'm judging is actually me. There's a part of me that's ready to be healed. And so what if I decide that I see him in a different light? I see the little boy that was abused and judged and, you know, and harmed. And I just start seeing him. I'm not talking to him differently. I'm not interacting with him differently. I'm just seeing him within myself. And then I'm like, what if I have had a part in this? And I start taking responsibility for that. That's what Ho'oponopono does. And I start healing the part of me that is being reflected in him, right? Now, I've worked with millions of souls. I've seen this in thousands and thousands of people, literally, that when we change this dynamic, they change when they're with us. They're still the same jerk to everyone else, but not to us, because we are humming at a different vibration. We've healed that part. So we no longer need to have that interaction that's going to create the reaction that's going to force me to heal. I've healed it. I've changed it. I've taken responsibility for it. I've shifted it. I'm not any of the pieces of him anymore. And so now he suddenly says, hey, listen, I have some extra vegetables in my garden. Do you want them? Suddenly we strike up a conversation. Suddenly, you know, you might not be best friends because he is not necessarily a nice guy, but suddenly there's some opportunity there for him. And guess what just happened? You actually helped him and you heal some karma, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then we talk about the pain body. It's related, right? The pain body to me is just this big, huge wall around our heart. That's what it is. That's what it looks like to me. That's what my guides have shown me. And so we can start removing the bricks when we start healing these patterns, when we start taking personal responsibility for everything we're creating, when we can move into the observer, when we can really discover, claim, and embrace equanimity and be in good shape in the midst of all of it. With our mind now moving in a totally new direction. I see it as there's the mind, there's the heart / consciousness, and then there's the soul. That's my holy trinity. And the mind is usually dominant in most people, trying to force and power over and make things happen. And when we create, we can create with the mind. The mind, thoughts create things. But when we force and create and manipulate to create things, there's always an opposite and equal reaction. There's a kick in the pants. When we create from our heart and consciousness in partnership with our soul, we're creating in a way that the mechanisms of the universe support everyone. And so when
it's unlimited too.
unlimited, eternal, infinite, eternal, limited. So when we're moving now with heart and consciousness really present, and we're really present and centered, and we feel our connection to our divine nature, to the soul, to source, the mind now moves into what I call quiet readiness. It's just quiet and ready. It's still the creative force in 3D. Thoughts still create things, but the thoughts are in this beautiful, nuanced, quiet readiness. And the heart and consciousness is now in conscious and in calm confidence. This is Cesar Millan's statement. He used to call it calm assertive. He's changed it to calm confidence. We now stand in this calm confidence because we know that we can hear the guidance. The soul is the map and the plan. And the soul is telling it, when we can hear it, it's nudging us, sometimes without us knowing it. We know it afterwards. And then the mind is in quiet readiness, and in quiet readiness, it's able to take the action that's needed to propel us forward. But it's really hard for the mind to take action when it's like, that's wrong, and that's bad, and they're bad, and they're bad, and I'm not safe, and I'm not safe, and I'm a victim, and righteous indignation. Now the whole thing is skewed towards not being able to really move forward with grace, with equanimity, with love and power and kindness and compassion.
So, hey, Mother Teresa once said, I'll try to get the quote right. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. Now, a lot of us are going to reach upon hearing that for like their worst example. It doesn't mean you have to go have a picnic with the person every day.
No.
Yeah, a guest this season said something beautiful. When you send love to others, there's the whole prayer movement. You send prayers to someone. They said send the love maybe via your angels or directly to their angels, but you don't have to send it to them.
Yes. Oh, thank you for that.
It's so beautiful to say it that way. I've never heard it that way.
I am not a fan of sending.
Yeah,
I am not a fan of sending.
Yeah.
So that's a great way to do it. If you're used to sending, send it through there. I love that because, I mean, if I'm sending, I'm judging. I somehow know better than they do about what their energy is. I don't send. I am. I just am. And then from my I am, I love. From my I am compassion towards them. From my I am, I'm in good shape, which is a field that is available to them now. When I am sending them, I'm working at it. It's the mind. The mind has decided that they're broken and I have to fix them. No one's broken ever. No one's ever been broken. That person has experienced an amazing soul adventure. What I do, I have a free prayer circle that I do every month. It's the day that matches the year. Back in 2011, they told me that.
Where can they find that? That's at is it at McLean Masterworks Corporate?
They can find it there. It's also www.annualprayercircle.com.
Okay,
but yes, www.mcleanmasterworkscorporate.com will get you there. And we do a prayer of appreciation. We love what is. We look at the souls and see that they are so much more than their circumstances. And when we see what we're saying, it creates transformation. We're not sending, we're not pushing our agenda on them. It reminds me of one more thing my guides are kind of kicking me to say, which is when you worry, you're disrespecting the people you're worrying about. Now, that may seem a little harsh, but it was harsh to get your mind's attention. And let me soften it a little for you. When you worry, you are pushing an energy onto them that there's something wrong with them, that they are not powerful enough for their soul to move through it. And it is at epidemic status right now on the planet. When you worry, you're pushing an energy of you're wrong, you're broken, you're not enough, you're not good enough, you can't handle it. Just notice it. Just notice the moment.
You're throwing more hot wax on their ball of wax, which only slows them down further. It's not helping them remove their wax at all.
You got it. You got it. It's right up there with judgment, worry is. So what do we do instead? Instead, we say, I play what if. I play the what if game because what if allows me to move around my mind's obstacles. And I have lots of them still. So I play what if almost every day. What if I trusted them? What if I could absolutely 100% trust their soul? What would that feel like for me if I could trust their soul? And that creates a different kind of, if you're if you don't like what if, you could just say, I trust your soul. But just see if there's a little part of your mind that's going, no. That's when what if comes in. What if I actually could? What if I 100% trusted that their soul's journey had something that I can't see?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why they're doing the way that, and that's what a lot of people are saying right now. I don't understand why they, as soon as you say that, just say, wait a minute, what if I actually trusted their soul? If we had like 750 million people that were doing that authentically, real, with I am in energy of kindness, love, compassion, and power, we would actually change everything. The whole thing would collapse into a different dynamic of love.
3 hours. It could change everything. And I'll say it a different way. Allow more, love more, show love always, think less. But it only has to be, I'm quoting angels from a while ago, 7% less thinking. That's it. Which sounds like an easy thing, but good luck with 1% less thinking.
Yeah. So and that's beautiful. And then let's divide that up into an energy. Right. So think less.
Good luck.
Can't be done. Can't be done. Can't be done.
Exactly.
But what if my thoughts were gentler, more loving, more compassionate? What might that feel like? Just play with everyone. Just play with that right now. What if my thoughts were just softer, kinder, gentler? What if my thoughts were not in the vein of judgment or blame or victim? What if I just thought life is good? Whoa, that one might freak out a bunch of minds. But what if you could? What if you could? What do you think that might feel like if I could just think it was all okay? What if I could actually do that? What if actually everything in this moment, I had this sensation, we're playing, this is fantasy, none of this is real, we're just playing. But what if I actually could feel like everything's okay? What do you think that might feel like in your being, in your heart, in your body? What if I could actually believe that everything's okay? What do you think that might be like? And what we're creating right now is a new neural pathway, a template that you probably didn't even have before. I'm a big fan of creating new templates because most of us don't have these templates. We don't have the template of equanimity or love or compassion or kindness or power. So let's play a what if game and create them right now. What if I felt powerful? What do you think that might feel like if you could? And then whatever the description is. So Michael, what if you felt powerful right now? Just be a guinea pig for me. What do you think that might feel like?
Stronger running.
Stronger running. Good. Now those words are not really descriptions. They're actually frequencies. So breathe in those words. Breathe them in. Now, for most of you, when you breathe in those words, you're expanding them. What you pay attention to expands, right? So your mind is now paying attention to the words that are describing your power, and they're expanding. We went right around the mind's obstacle. We went right to it. And now you've got a new neural pathway. You've got an actual example of what it feels like. Stronger running. Oh, that's vibrating in your field. There's more space in your field. And now there's more space and there's more kind of power in your field because those are frequencies that are expanded. And so now I see all of our universes as a ball. This is what my guide showed me for the purposes of this exercise. So everyone's universe is this ball that just got bigger by describing your power. And the borders of that universe just got stronger to contain all that space and power. Does that feel true, Michael?
It does. And it made me think or consider the concept of past lives being overlapping like right now so that you bleed love into all directions. So it's more than you realize.
Nice catch.
Yeah, so
it's all dimensions, right?
So love is good. And the more you can love, good luck with that. But the more you can, the more you'll get, thank you.
This is time.
Yes.
Right. This is us right here. And when we're playing in this notion of our energy and creating new neural pathways, it's going all the way through and all the way up to future lives as well. That's the power of this lifetime, this amazing roller coaster that we got the ticket for. That's the power of it.
Can I go on a tiny tangent? We're going to come right back to this thread. So we're going to just try to check some boxes so that the audience understands, because you've been doing this again, 35 plus years. I'm going to count childhood and everything else, whether we knew it or not. We're always engaging with energies.
Yeah.
So auras, chakras, they exist. Do you see auras all the time, or once in a blue moon, or when you want to turn it on, but you keep it shut off? How do you describe your aspect with auras? Or is it just the way you don't work now? Or you feel it, you don't see it? Or all the above?
I think I work a lot with sacred geometry, with auras, and with chakras. And so I for oh, okay. I actually didn't know the answer. I didn't know the answer. They just told me. The answer is it depends on the person I'm working with. If they need me to see their chakras, I see their chakras. It's for their mind.
That's a beautiful answer. Okay, now you're getting us closer because you just listened to your crew or your team or your cheerleaders or your support crew. My microphone's right here if I keep looking that way.
Okay.
So angels exist. Yep.
Absolutely.
Guardian angel, obviously you've chatted. I'm gonna check that box for you, right?
Yep.
Have you met your guardian angel first name? Have you seen them in human form yet? Or yes, or dream time, or maybe, or only in Sarajevo?
I have met them. I don't recall where, and it kind of doesn't matter. I mean,
right.
Part of the thing with New Age is it can become, and you're not like this, but there are some people who are attracted to this material who use this as just another crutch and distraction away from the I am. So I don't really focus on that stuff all that much anymore because it kind of doesn't matter. It's like, again, if my mind requires it, I will see it. I will experience it. If my client requires that I see it, if their minds require that I see it, I will see it. But my belief state is, well, of course I've met my guides. Of course I've met them at some point, and I don't really remember consciously where. And part of that also is because I used to have a pretty big ego, and I would have, so I think they were kind of like wary about giving me too many awe-inspiring things so that I would just be more grounded with it.
Yeah. And then if you don't mind, one last area, your sister, this is 10 years ago, I forget, is it Claire?
Abby.
Abby, sorry. Do you hear her? Do you chat with her, or is that just you feel her? Or can you spend just this much time on how you describe that dynamic?
Yeah, she definitely guides me. I don't hear her, but I know afterwards that I've been guided by her. I actually go to a medium because I can feel myself imagining things. So I want to check with the medium to make sure that what I'm seeing is right. But she communicates me with electronics a lot. Right in my office here, I have a light that has a fan in it, and I thought it was novel to get the fan, but it's stupid, so I never use the fan. It's a nice light, but the fan is dumb. It doesn't emanate enough things, and it has to be too close. Anyway, it does better. So for 3 weeks, she would turn on the fan. You have to really find the fan button to turn on the fan. Yep. So the fan was going on. I knew it was her. And so then I reached out to my medium, and we had this really cool conversation. She wanted me to tell me about the book that we're going to start writing together soon. And then she plays with the electronics too. My grandmother gives me feathers. And those are my two main kind of departed loved ones who are still my guides.
Okay, and then last area of just, and only share what you want to share, but for, let's say the work schedule's gotten really heavy and you're feeling it, what are some grounding exercises you do? Is it water, pool, ocean? You're in Laguna Beach, and you had a better way to say it. There was a more specific Laguna, and I don't remember.
Oh, it's okay. Laguna Niguel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What are the ways that you would want to share that others can appreciate that it's that simple? If you would just get out of like your house, your apartment, touch a tree, walk barefoot. I mean, those are some classic ones. So
what I often recommend is a chart that I created for myself years ago. It's reminding me to get back to it, actually, because I am experiencing a little bit of stress right now. Nature, and it could be the really beautiful tree in your backyard. That's enough. Hikes, oceans, getting into the middle of nature. I went to the middle of the Amazon rainforest, 400 miles from a road, because I had to experience what that was like, to be in the middle of the Amazon forest, 400 miles from a road. And the Achuar tribe actually dropped me and said they'd come back for me. And I was by myself. I was so amazing. Oh my
Can
God.
you back up? Tell us about this.
Okay.
Yeah, tell us
It was
about this.
Lynn Twist is a good friend, and she has the
The Panachimema Alliance. I
Pachamama.
can never pronounce.
Pachamama.
Yeah,
She
thank
has
you.
the Pachamama organization. And so I went with her on one of her trips. And that's one of the things they do. And part of the reason I realized in hindsight is because I needed to experience that level of nature. I needed it in my bones. And I'll have it forever. And I can now reference it anytime I want. So you can create one of these experiences and then reference it, right? That's what the shamanic journey is all about. Find a place in nature that works for you and go in your shamanic journeys. I call them healing journeys now to not do appropriation. But because the way I do them is a little different. But nature, and there's this chart you could create. And basically on one column, on the left-hand column, you can write down all the things that stress you out that's happening in your life right now. Write them down. Like I'm stressed out right now by some financial stuff because I have a big thing coming up that's going to be really big. And between now and then, it's going to be a little tight. And so, financial stress. And then, stress with maybe a relationship and a little stress here, and a little stress. Write them down. And then beside it, you're going to write something down. But first, you're going to do another thing. You're going to write down on another piece of paper all the things that help you make you feel good. Reading, meditating, walking on the beach, going for a hike, riding your bike, going swimming. I love hot tubs. I love hot tubs and cold dips. I love that. A nice hot shower with cold, a salt bath. Find the things that work for you though. Don't use mine. Don't use any others. What are the things that work for you? Because I know that cold dip would cause many people stress. It helps me relax profoundly. I love it. So write all those things down. Now give them a number from 1 to 10. Like a hot tub is a 10 for stress releaser. Like if I'm in a 10 stress, that is going to be a 10 stress releaser. Hiking is a 10 stress releaser. Reading a book is probably a 6. Listening to my Audible, that's probably a 5. These are the number them.
Dogs,
go back to your
cats, dogs.
Oh, cats. Oh, animals. Absolutely. Yeah, hanging out with my cats. And I'm actually getting a new puppy, which I'm super excited about. And so, yeah, put those on your list and give them a number out of 1 to 10. 1 being, it helps a little. 10 being, it's the best. Okay. Now go back to your stress list. Number them 1 to 10. Most stressful is 10. Start matching. Now you're going to fill this chart out. Start taking the 10 stress relievers and match them to the 10, or take 2 5s and match it to a 10, right? And start calendaring this stuff out. If you're under a lot of stress, find those things that work for you and then match them to things that are stressing you out in the moment. And you'll have more capacity. You'll have more space in your field. You'll have an opportunity to actually observe more, which is, for me, one of the most important things you can do is to observe when you're in your patterns, when you're in your dysfunction, when you're in repression, when you're in reaction.
So I love what you're saying today in this interview, because cultivating your authentic presence, cultivating your flows, just cultivating your awareness of those flows so you can start to decide what you want more of, what you want less of. You're
That's
taking
right.
ownership of the valves so you can
That's
decide
right.
the flows a little more.
That's right.
Interesting. And the jungle, okay. So you get dropped off, but is this the tribe dropping you off? It's a Land Rover. It's Lynn kicking you out saying, you asked for this. And
no,
as
she did it with
drives off.
everyone. She actually it's part of the experience. And I was just so grateful that most people didn't enjoy it because they were terrified of being in the jungle alone. It was I just loved every minute of it. But yeah, it was part of the experience of what it's like to be the Achuar, to be part of Pachamama.
Okay,
and,
but take us. Did you arrive at an airport? Did they?
Yeah, we arrived at an airport in Quito, in Ecuador, and then we took a small plane we drove a bunch, and then we took a small plane, like really small, into 400 miles from a road, and landed on a dirt landing way. And then there were these huts that we lived in. So there's kind of a bed and netting and stuff like that. The jungle is freaking loud. It's so loud. Like the jungle is loud. like crickets and birds and beasts, and it's loud. It was amazing. So we got to sleep in these little huts, and then they took us and did some cleansing. They took us on the hike. The Achawar warriors actually planted us because they know their way around the jungle. We don't. They planted each of us so that we couldn't see each other, we couldn't hear each other. And then it was only about 45 minutes maybe, but oh damn, I'll never forget it. It was so great. And then we went on the shaman took us then, and we went on this cleansing journey. We went and we inhaled tobacco water. We went behind a waterfall and released things into the water, and then we pushed ourselves through the waterfall, and then we went hiking a bunch of times, and then we finished with the shaman, and we did ayahuasca with the shaman in the middle of the jungle on banana leaves. It was just amazing. Oh
did it kick in? Did it kick in right away for you? Sort of a little bit later? You weren't the person who had to like. Okay.
And it was. Do you want me to share a little bit of my journey?
Yeah. Okay. Whatever's comfortable for you to share.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I'm comfortable with anything, you know. Life is an open book. So it started with the sacred geometry, and it was just kind of spinning in front of me. And then it had all of these marketing pictures of me going, you know, really kind of fake stuff, and then really showing me my ego. And so that was flashing and flashing and flashing all these images of me and these fake poses. And I was on a roller coaster then. And there was this huge 10-story head, my head. So 4 stories of it was my mouth. And it was this, yeah, and I was going down into the mouth. And right at that moment, I said, I don't want to do that. And I just went like this. Whoosh. And I was floating in space in the most purest stillness. Usually when I share this, some people can actually feel that stillness. And I heard, nothing matters. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. And then I heard the last bars of Bohemian Rhapsody. Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me. Anywhere the wind blows. And it's like anywhere the wind blows, that's Earth. Nothing matters on the planet. And it wasn't the kind of nothing matters, so don't care. It's the nothing matters, so live. So live. And then Freddie Mercury shows up. And I talked to Freddie for a while. And the purpose of me wanting to do the ayahuasca was to meet my sister because she had passed away the year before.
And you got to do that.
And so Freddie, and I said, Freddie, you're dead. Can you show me where my sister is? And he took me to my sister. And we had this long conversation that unfortunately I don't remember most of it. The only thing I remember is she said, you are the most important thing in the universe. And I'm like, well, I was over there with Freddie and nothing matters. What's that about? And she says, say it. And I'm like, okay, I am the most important thing in the universe. And she said, yes, the most important thing in that sentence is I am. I am is the most important thing in the universe.
It was your piece of paper with the pen.
Yes, yes. And the I am is, we're all one. The I am is, you know, God got us all, that is, and us, and you, and them, and everyone's listening. That's the I am. Oof. Yeah, it was a very profound, amazing trip.
Now, just because we're on a show, I'm going to ask this.
Sure.
Has Freddie shown back up in a dream since?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Cool. That was incredible to share. Thank you for doing that.
Sure.
Such flavor. Okay. Take us through a little bit of STT, the acoustics. You have a 5-prong approach, but it's probably morphed to like 7, 8, 9, 10 ways. I think it depends on the person, as you've said many times. Yeah. Take us through how you Jedi force field the situation, even before they've walked into the room or they've gotten on a Zoom call with you. Do you taste the wind? And later, if we remember this, talk to us about changing the direction of the desert winds, whatever that might mean. Think Alchemist. You have
Okay.
unlimited potential. It's back to that I am thing. But
Right.
take us somewhere with respect to the clients and healing.
Yeah, I am 100% guided by my guides, 100%. So I'm going to use some words that aren't really true, but it helps my mind. I am not allowed to prepare.
Oh, good. Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's not true. Those words are incorrect. They're telling me, but it helps all of our minds kind of understand what I mean, which is I go in blank, zero, no preparation. And it's guided in the moment. That's it. The only thing that I do, the action I take is appreciate the system as it is expressing itself. This is, I certify people in my system of feeling, and that's the first thing I teach them. I appreciate their system as it's expressing itself, which means there's nothing broken or bad or wrong. It's simply a system that is expressing in a way that is part of their soul's journey, is part of their current circumstances. And it's for many people who are at the point of seeing me, they are tired of the old routine. They're tired of being stuck, which there is no such thing, by the way, as stuck. They're tired of self-sabotage. There's no such thing as self-sabotage. None of these things are real. It's labels that the mind puts on them so that we can deal with the fact that we feel like we're stuck. I get it, feels like it's stuck, but you can't be stuck. If you were actually stuck, that means inertia. It means you're dead. You'd be gone. Right? So you're not stuck. So when I go to work with someone, you know, I have these tools that I've been using for decades. So they're just kind of a part of me. And my guides pick from the tools. So they say, you know, which one is going to help with what. And so, you know, I started sound vibration when I was in my early 20s. I would just do it for myself because it felt good. I would, you know, whenever I had a bath, I would do toning. That's where it started, which is just, you know, choosing a tone. That does a lot of clearing. Sound vibration moves right in and clears and cleans without the mind able to ever react, which is always my jam. You know, let's see if we can get the mind out of the way. Not gone, because the mind is an important part of the process, but it's one of the Holy Trinity, right? Mind, heart, consciousness, soul. And so then STT is an energy medicine system that I guess if I were to really put a name on it, it's kind of like verbal craniosacral, kind of. It's a guided process of 11 steps. There is an optional 12th step. And the idea is, do you want me to walk you through the steps?
Could you first explain craniosacral just a little better for
yeah, sure.
so we get it?
Yeah, sure. Cranial sacral therapy. If you're really interested in learning about it, just Google it. It's there. But cranial sacral therapy is the cranial bones in the head, the sacrum in the base of the spine, and all of the nerves in between. It is covered in a sheath. It's called the dural tube and the myelin. No, it's not myelin. Dural tube, and it covers it and contains it. And then there's this stuff called cranial sacral fluid, which bathes the brain and all the nervous system and all the cranial, where the nerves come out of the sacrum. Cranial sacral system. And so there's a rhythm with the cranial sacral system. If you went to a doctor and said, my cranial system has a rhythm, they would say, what? They don't think that's real. You go to an OD, they know about the cranial sacral system. And so what happens is the cranial system has a rhythm. It's a rhythm that's like 7 seconds in and 7 seconds out. The frontal bone goes 7 seconds in and 7 seconds out. The temporal bones go 7 seconds in and 7 seconds out. And then the sacrum goes 7 seconds in and 7 seconds out. And so all of these rhythms get impacted by trauma. And so if we work within the cranial sacral system, we can, again, appreciate how the system is expressing. And when the cranial sacral system it's being noticed, it will show us the dysfunctional rhythms, the dysfunctional patterns, where it's quote unquote stuck, where it's in a place of not moving properly. And when you just observe the cranial system as it expresses itself, it will say, oh, you're watching me. Let me show you a few things. And it's like, oh, there you go. And you watch it move into the place of where it's in this old pattern, and you just hold, and then it moves into what's called a still point. And in the still point is the healing. And then it moves back into a more balanced position after that. So that's craniosacral system.
Beautiful.
Spontaneous transformation technique is 11 steps. It starts with the emotion that you're feeling in the moment of an upset. I'm upset. The second step is, where is that in my physical body? It's somewhere in the body, one place, you identify it. Step 3 is, I'm going to move into the observer. And I'm going to move into, and I usually use what if at this stage. What if I were the observer? I was detached. I was in the no thing. I was in the infinite eternal void of love. I was in the 0 point. I was in the place of the stillness. What if I were there and I were detached and I could really feel that? And then some people, that takes a long time the first couple of times. But then the observer self moves into that area of the physical body. So let's say it's the heart. It's like, something happened and I'm upset. And it's like, where's that? It's my heart. We move into the observer. Observer is detached. The observer self moves into the heart. That's step 4, maybe step 5. And as soon as you move into the heart, you notice that that upset's really there, but the observer is not impacted by it. Okay. The observer is observing, the feeling is there. We follow that feeling to where it's coming from, which is the younger version of us. Now, this is not inner child work, a little different, but we go to the younger version of us that has actually had the experience. Remember, 0 to 9 is where it all happened. Spontaneous transformation technique assists and unwinds and heals 0 to 9. And when we unheal 0 to 9, the domino effect impacts us all the way to here. So we go to that little one, and then the next couple of steps are we let them feel. We let them feel something that they couldn't feel when they were that age because it was dangerous, it was unsafe, or at minimum, it wouldn't have made a difference. So the little ones did something super smart. They repressed it so that we could survive. Now we go in and we allow the little ones to fully feel and express. And by doing so, it opens them up. And what also got repressed when they repressed those emotions is the love and the light and the power that they are. That now gets freed up and they get to reintegrate it. And little diamonds kind of show up in our hearts now of power. And then the last couple of steps are, now that you've felt all the feelings and you're noticing that you're reintegrating this power, love, and light, the last question is, what do you need now? You ask the observer, ask the little one. Now, really key, when the observer is with the little one and they're feeling, it's really important to be the observer, because when we're the observer, we actually allow something that's never happened to us before. We're an adult that allows the little one to just be. Really important to be the observer and not go down the rabbit hole of their emotion, right? So this is the part, remember I talked about re-traumatizing?
You're really good at this too.
Yeah, this is the part that allows us to be, give the little one space to just be, because they've never been able to be. It's a beautiful experience. Then you ask them, what do you need now? And then they express, whatever they do. I need a mountain. I need to play. I need love. I need a hug. And then this is where we create new neural pathways. We ask them, just like within What If, show me what it would feel like to be hugged. Show me what love would feel like. Show me what it would feel like to own a mountain. Show me the energy. Show me the energy. And then they start revealing the energy to us, and we start feeling it. Subtly, we start to feel it. And then the optional step 12 is to just do an I am statement. Take a single word that describes what they need, and then do an I am statement, and we claim it together. That's STT.
Is this something you've done in large groups, taking people through? I mean, I believe it is. But can you share one that will always be a big memory? I know they're all unique and special, but is there one where you still flash back to it today? You're like, oh my God, I was seeing sparks come off some people, or something where you were just like, oh, that was fun. This is why I do it.
Yeah, I had, I used to do an event for business owners where I walked them through an STT session, and there was about 300 people there. And something happens when all boats are raised at the same time. Something happens. There's like a blanket of energy ripples off that impacts all of humanity. And watching people finally give voice to that which they couldn't have voiced. Finally let their little ones experience what was so dangerous to experience, and allow them to just taste the freedom of that and reclaim their light, love, and power that they lost long ago. Um, yeah, thank you for their memory. One of the things that someone asked me is, it's like in shamanism, they have this thing about reclaiming soul, shards. And I didn't know that that's what was happening, but yes, that's what's happening. We're reclaiming parts of ourselves and bringing it back in. And then we start to get full. And then sometimes the body then reacts to say, okay, so we've got the psyche, we've got the emotional body, the mental body, like really healed and healthy. And then the physical body goes, I need some attention. And that's when we really need to start honoring the physical body. And that means moving it. That means yoga, Pilates, gyrotonics is really great. That means really aligned chiropractors. That means functional medicine doctors. But again, only go to ones that feel right. I had a client recently who said, who went to a naturopath, and they gave her herbs. Herbs are drugs. So you want to be super careful with herbs, super careful. Got someone who's selling you thousands of dollars in herbs, I would say find someone else. That's what I would say, because herbs are drugs. All drugs are made from herbs. But use your intuition with all of it. If the thousands of dollars of herbs feel right for you, then go for it. But use your intuition for all of it. No one knows you better than you. You know yourself better than anyone. When it comes to being ready to deal with the physical body, I recommend going to see some practitioners. Go see a gyrotonics expert. Go see, which I love. There's another one called Functional Patterns. Great stuff. Qigong, great. Tristan Sabrina Truscott, amazing Qigong. He's an amazing sensei. Go start playing with that stuff with your body, because your body is the first to get it, last to release it. And many of our bodies are really aching to release. And how do I know? Because it's aching. Your body might have aches and pains. It's like, I've done all this spiritual work. Why? Because the body's the last to get it. It's calling you. It's telling you it's time to do
neck,
something
lower
different.
back,
Exactly.
that it's a signal.
It's where we hold the trauma. We actually have held the trauma in our body, and the emotional and mental healing is profoundly allows opening in the physical body, and we can move through it fairly quickly. But rule of thumb is, if you had an injury or an ache or a pain, how many years did you have it? Take that down to months now, is how many months it's going to take for you to resolve it. Rule of thumb may not be true. Sometimes it's instant and it's gone. But again, part of what I'm doing right now is having your mind changed, that you get to be okay. Yeah, you get to be okay that maybe it's going to take a minute. Be okay with that. And then your mind can allow the acceleration for it to not take that long time.
Because you're constantly creating, and we don't even know when we're unconscious creating, we're almost reinforcing the illness. We're not even giving it a chance to go.
You bet.
Yeah, it's already served its purpose long ago, but we like to hold on to everything. Okay, so talk to us more about letting go, holding on. I am, whether you want to suggest another mantra, like I love that I am, but I'm blanking right now. There was the rest. I am the most fabulous, fantastic person in the universe.
I'm a magnificent being of light. The universe supports me. I am love. I am kindness. I am compassion. I am powerful.
And the universe is supporting me. How about that? Because we're back to, angels, guides. It's almost not even important, as you might say, what the exact, in my opinion, there's no hierarchy. It's just different frequencies, love, lots of love, a little bit of love, love beyond our grasp.
What did you decide for on your soul's journey? That's what you're going to receive. It's part of your journey.
How can we make that invite? Even if we don't know what we're doing, how can we just trust, put it out there and let the universe do its job? Can you address that a little?
Yeah, that's good. It's something that I kind of still play with a little bit. Like, every night I pray, And I pray to God, Goddess, all that is, higher self, paranormal teachers, allies, and guides, leaders of the seven raid, all the archangels, and all the ascended masters. That's who I pray to.
Yep.
And I say, hey, thank you, and I love you. Thank you, I love you. Thank you, I love you. Oh, I just feel the love. Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you, I love you. And sometimes that's it. Because that just changed my energy. That's it. Sometimes it's like, hey, there's this thing. Thank you for helping me and guiding me and supporting me, inspiring. Thank you, because I know you're doing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can feel it. And that allows you to open yourself to noticing that when it's happening in the moment. And then the next part of the prayer is, okay, there's something that I do need some help with. Please assist me and guide me and inspire me to understanding, to knowing that I am the God that I am, that is abundance, that is, like, if you want to work on abundance, help me to know that I am the God of me. That by the way, I am the God of me. That is Dee Wallace's work. I want to give her credit where credit is due. I am the God of me. So
can you tell us about Dee Wallace for 1 second? The movie
yeah, sure.
E.T., right? And the actress.
Yes, Dee Wallace is an amazing channel.
Yes.
Like she's a movie star, right? She's a big movie star. And she's also an amazing channel and profound healer. She's a dear friend. I love her with all of my heart. I am dwallace.com. Amazing, amazing soul. And so she has worked with the channel and created these amazing insights about false core beliefs, the core beliefs that have been running us. And then she creates claims that allow us to unwind them. One of the main unwindings is I am the God of me, which means my mind knows. I'm stating, I'm claiming, I am the God of me. I am in command of me. I am in charge of me. I am the God of me. So I use that so I am the God of me that is a vibrational match to great wealth. There's one for abundance. Mm-hmm. I am the God of me that is whole and well and strong and powerful and in equanimity, in perfect homeostasis and equilibrium. That's for health. I am the God of me that is. So it's claiming it. And then you can say, God, Goddess, all of this, higher self, paranormal teachers, allies, and guides, leaders of the seven rays, all the archangels, and all the ascended masters. Can you please help me to know that more? Right? So to know that I am the God of me that is this.
Beautiful. Okay. Are there any other like practical tips like this? It's not complex. It's actually really easy. But and that's very defined. People are going to want to go back and play that part again, start taking notes and practice, maybe tailor it their own way that they feel excited about.
Yes, tailor it your own way. That's mine.
Yeah, enthusiasm, positivity is abundance, just as long as you send your high vibes soaring.
And you're claiming it. You're not begging for it. You're not broken. It's not wrong. It's not bad. I trust my soul. That's another one. I trust my soul's journey. Trust my soul's decisions. I trust my soul. I trust that my soul is on this brilliant journey. Another one is it's all here for me. Everything is here for me, not against me, not victimizing me. What if what's happening in my life right now is here for me? It's here, not, that old saying, God doesn't give you any more than you can handle. No, God gives you exactly what you can handle, exactly what you're ready for. And you're ready for it. And how do I know? Because it's happening. So you're receiving exactly what you're ready for. So what if it's all here for me always? And when I'm in a particularly challenging moment, it's like, what if this is here for me? Just that statement helps me to go, just switch it around. It's like, yes, okay, I remember. It's here for me. This is here for me. I trust my soul. I trust my soul's journey. I trust my soul's decisions. By the way, you can say that for other people too. I trust your soul. I trust your soul's decisions. If you're worried about them, I trust your soul. I trust your soul's decisions. This is what I said to my sister as she was dying. I trust your soul. I trust your soul's decisions. I trust your soul. I trust your soul's adventures. I trust how your soul got you here. I trust where your soul is taking you. It really helps to, unwind all the worry, which is not healthy for them or you.
Is it okay? And is it time to blow some lit sage your way?
Sure thing. Okay.
We did this before the show. And if anybody's watched this show to date, 37 or 8 episodes taped, another 8 or 9 circling. Echo Bodine has said yes. We might get Sarah McLean, not related to our Jennifer McLean here, but everybody confuses the two, and they know each other.
Yeah, she's amazing soul.
And we are fortunate to have Jennifer McLean here on Angels, Positivity, and Love. She's absolutely done us a wonderful interview so far.
I had my 50th birthday party at Sarah's house.
Oh, yay. Okay, here's some sage smoke. Anyone can smell it through two screens. It might be 5 years from now. Red-tailed hawk feather, I said that correctly. I'm just going to blow some through. Anybody who wants to allow, if you have to ask the universe, angels to bring it to you, but that's linear. If you want to ask for more, ask for more. Ask for a floral scent. Lorna Burns' episode came out yesterday, and she caught roses and daisies in Ireland. So that was really cool. So, Jennifer, what are you getting? And do you want to ask for more and allow for more?
It's funny, I'm getting roses, gardenias, and lily of the valley, as well as the beautiful scent of sage.
Yay. I'll snuff it out before I smoke myself out here. And then do you use lit sage, or do you just ask for energy clearing from angels? How do you do
You
it?
know, I have pretty extreme ADHD, so I don't remember some of this stuff to do it. So my Ho'oponopono is kind of my process, and the prayer work I do that I just shared at night. So Ho'oponopono is for me profound clearing. So
Can you describe that one again?
yeah,
Is
it's
it Hawaiian, or is
the
it another?
so the Hawaiian prayer is four words, four statements in the Hawaiian prayer, but I've changed the order of the statements, and I've layered in STT, spontaneous transformation technique kind of guidance over top of it. So it goes, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. That's my version. And it goes basically thinking about the person and what they done to you. And then you think, wow, have I ever done that to anyone else? Even if it's a thought, because thoughts are, as we know, just as powerful as actions and deeds. So even if you've had a thought, and I've had lots of thoughts that are really dysfunctional. So I'm like, oh yeah, I've done it lots. And then I'm like, okay, so now I'm going to turn to the little one. This is similar. You'll see the similarities to STT. I turn to the little one and I say, I'm so sorry, little one, for what happened to you, that you created coping mechanisms that are similar to what this person did. And that you had to create those in order to survive. I'm so sorry for what happened to you. And then please forgive me for all those who I hurt by creating those coping mechanisms and expressing them in a way that hurt others. Please forgive me for those who I hurt. And then I usually do those two back and forth for quite a while. I'm sorry, little one. I'm sorry, little one. I'm sorry, little. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. And then it's I love you, and you're saying it to the little one. The whole time you're doing this, you've got the person that you're addressing in your purview. They're there. They're in the field with you. You're doing Ho'oponopono with them, but on yourself, because it's personal responsibility. So I love you, little one, and then thank you, little one, for creating that coping mechanism so I could survive. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And then I usually turn to the person I'm doing it with, and I see them as a little one, and I say, I'm so sorry for what happened to you, that you created coping mechanisms that hurt me. Please forgive me for not being able to see your light in the midst of me being hurt. Thank you for being a master teacher right now, showing me what was ready to be healed in me. And I love you. If you can say I love you, you can. Some people can't. You can say you are loved. That's Ho'oponopono. And I do that every single day. Every day. I do it every single solitary day. I do it every night. Before I go to bed, I usually do it in the morning too, but when I wake up. And sometimes if I'm triggered during the day, I'll like, oh, God, I'm so sorry. Like there's a lot of people on television right now that trigger me. So I do it right to them. There's a whole political party that triggers me, and I do it to them. I know that it has nothing to do with me, that they're on this brilliant soul journey, that there's also a soul manifestation and unwinding that's required for humanity. I trust the souls of all of these souls. Sometimes I get triggered by it. I go, as soon as I say, oh my God, why would they? Right. Okay. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Or see they're magnificent, or see they're, use one of the many techniques that I use.
Yeah. And I'm going to not get this quote just right, but love is what it allows us to get all the flavors, the contrast in life, something like that. There's a great quote that way. So if you switch it up, there's folks out there that, you think they're wrong, you're right, something like that. And I love what angels say. There is no wrong and right, but there is proper understanding. And the understanding is in the vibration of compassion, love, kindness, gentleness. That is some fun stuff. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more, the importance of kindness?
The only thing is, it's all love, all of it. And it's all different hues and densities. That's it. It's all hues and densities of love. And it may not look like love, but it's all love because this planet is made of love. We come from love. We're all magnificent beings of love. Everyone without exception. Everyone. Putin. Everyone.
Yes, brave souls coming in to do the little stint on a stage, no matter how horrible. And without getting into those details, if I put a couple angel photos up, like Joy, Archangel Michael, some others, maybe a couple Native American chiefs for you, is that okay to have you listen? You can keep the answers to yourself. You can share what you want to share. You can ask for a hug, but you can relate anything you want to relate. And you can even get a topic to share with us that we've not covered yet. And this will be your crew also kicking in.
Sure.
Here's Joy, the emotion Joy, high peppy voice for those who really want to let go and hear her. And just ask what's next, anything like that. Get a hug.
Yeah, I got a little sound vibration coming through for that.
Good. And anything else, or can I move to the next one?
Go for the next one.
Okay. Charlotte, everybody's favorite teacher from childhood with words meant to help you expand.
Love that. Thank you.
Okay. And then Archangel Michael.
He's my jam.
And what's he have for all of us to remember?
Yeah, so he's actually sharing that he helps when we're in the I am, he helps to cut the cords of our judgments that we've had on other people.
Oof. Okay, my guardian angel will do Gabriel next, but my guardian angel is watery, light waves of energy and water. Min is good enough, although Owala is a Polynesian morning glory, and with the sweet potato in the ground, and Ua and La is Hawaiian for rain, sun, sun, rain, rainbow. So her name is Water Rainbow, Water Morning Glory, just call her Min. But you can see the silhouette, and she's very professorial, but like soft-spoken, not going to tell anybody anything.
That's lovely. Reminds me of Hawaii. Reminds me of the Ho'oponopono.
She's got some Hawaiian spirituality in her.
Yeah, there's Pono there.
And what do you get from her, or what do you feel from her? Or you can smell an ocean if you want that's not Laguna proper.
Yeah, got it.
Do you want to share on that one?
Plumeria.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. And I bought my first plumeria a couple weeks ago as a gift. It's sitting on our front patio for a household member here. Okay. Gabriel.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm a lot of third eye stuff.
Okay. And then I'm going to do older Geronimo and Kapuna Auntie Margaret to wrap it up. Geronimo's just unconditional love, spirit guide. He's action, dry wit, humor, not formal though. Yeah, nah. And I saw you've got this, or you got this is what it says there. But he says all the time, you've got this, or just do it, like a Nike bumper sticker.
Oh, cool.
And this photo should melt a little bit because, you know, people think he's a tiger, but he's a kitten at heart. He's the inner peaceful, fearless, consummate warrior. And you can have a sage smell come in, or sweetgrass, desert piñol, juniper, any sacred smell, tobacco. If you don't,
I smell earth.
Good. And if you don't mind having, is there a direction you can go having connected?
Yeah, I got a topic.
Okay, go for it. Just if you don't mind talking, and I'll find Kapuna Auntie Margaret's photo.
Yeah, Justice. Justice. You know, he was basically one of the people who founded this country on they emulated what the peoples had created then in terms of sovereignty, and every man is equal. And one of the things that I'm hearing now is justice. We can get all bent out of shape with that, or we could just see what just is.
Oof.
Yeah.
I like that. Kapuna Auntie Margaret, we're almost done. Hawaiian Kapuna, duh, I said that. Okay, here she is, and she's wonderful. I describe her as love on a Hawaiian breeze.
That's nice.
And if you want to catch a taste of Hawaii or any inspiration, please do.
Yeah, I love Hawaii. Yeah, thank you for that. I needed a little hit of Hawaii.
And sorry, I have one more for you, unless you want Audrey Hepburn as well. But Claire, who's resilience, an angel, and
Oh, that
somehow
feels good.
Claire popped up earlier at the very beginning. You said Claire, I thought, and
Claire, well, I was talking about all the Claires, Claire Sentient, Claire Audient,
that's it.
Clairvoyant. Yeah.
And somehow she popped in and was like, "Make sure you include me." So
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
here's an
That's
angel named
nice.
Claire who's resilience. If you don't mind on this one, do you mind feeling extra in a roundabout way? You know how you have that amazing talent to get around anything, and this will be whatever it is that you wish to share or keep private.
Yeah. There's you can go around it or in it.
Yes.
Yeah. So the topic they showed me was boulders in a river. Boulders in a river create resistance in the water. Boulders are not bad or evil or wrong. They create resistance that allows topography in the water that helps the environment, that helps the fish, that helps the shoreline develop, that helps, it creates eddies. So, you can pause there, it costs still points. But you can't have any of that without the boulder, which is resistance.
And you can get stuck in that eddy for a whole lifetime.
You can
Yeah.
indeed.
Okay, is there anything else you want to share, like in terms of, is there still a past project or a book or a work or something, a YouTube interview elsewhere that you're really jacked about? It was a really productive talk or something like that. What can you steer someone watching this to see Jennifer McLean in action, or it's someone else's book? It's Power of Now on the shelf here, Eckhart Tolle, Pain Body stuff. It's Byron Katie. I think she's probably right here. What would you want to steer?
Oh, if you just go to my site, you'll see all the different, I have a bunch of free stuff. I do a ton of free stuff. And then of course I also run a business, so I sell a bunch of products too. So if you want to do the free stuff, go to McLeanMasterworkscorporate.com, and you can check out a bunch of different processes and techniques that you can use that I've shared a lot on today's show. I do have some future products that I'm really excited about. Oh my
Is
gosh,
this 2024 for you to release, or
yeah,
is it
2024, there will definitely be some new stuff. And I'm revamping my whole certification process, and I'm going to create an association and do live events. It's really exciting. So, and I'm also writing some books, new books that are coming up that I'm super excited about. So one is about my experience of healing from sexual abuse. That's funny. If you can believe it. It's funny. Yeah, that's coming up. But yeah, if you want to go to my main meds website, there's all my free stuff is up there, and you can access that.
Ooh, awesome. Okay, well, Jennifer McLean, it's been wonderful having you on from Laguna Beach, even though I know there's another way to say it, which is
Laguna Niguel.
Thank you. And I'm so bad with the geolocation. I'm getting better. Actually, let's switch it to, I am one of the most wonderful pronouncers of names, places, etc., and always learning and expanding. We'll make the
You can
point.
do that, or it doesn't matter if I pronounce it or not.
Thank you. And okay, so what's our last I am you want to leave us with? To I am that I am blah blah blah.
Yeah. I am that which I am seeking.
Ooh, nice. Thank you very much for being on Angels, Positivity, and Love. We'd love to have you back next year when you feel comfortable and want to come and talk about some of those books or some of those efforts or the revamp, anything you'd like to share.
Sure. This has been really fun, Michael. Thank you very much. I love your brilliant enthusiasm. It's contagious. Lovely.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you very much.